his chapter with the Phillies. He'll have an MRI later today.
We also know that the Warriors are hurting. It's been a month since Kevin Durant went out, and I know now that you're asking this question. The next question is how's Klay? Well, it's a hamstring. It's a mild strain. He's officially listed as questionable for tomorrow night's game. Here's Nick Friedel.
Klay was hopeful of playing in Game 3 as he walked out of the arena Sunday night in Toronto. Klay Thompson had an MRI. It confirmed that he's got a hamstring strain. And what that means is he'll go through the next couple days here at practice, and it's a pain tolerance thing. They just don't know how that hamstring's going to respond. So that's something to watch for in the next 24 hours or so.
The Warriors have been a different team when Klay plays this season. He only missed 4 games, and the Warriors went 500 in those games. They were 40 games over 500 the rest of the season. So when he's able to go, the Warriors, they've outscored their opponents by 7 points per game. When he doesn't play, the Warriors have been outscored by that same margin. Again, he is questionable for tomorrow night's game. There is nothing to question with Kevon Looney. He is out indefinitely with a non-displaced cartilage fracture on the right side of his rib cage. So it's where the ribs connect to his sternum. Translation, ouch. The Warriors are hurting. It's been a month since Kevin Durant went out, and now you're asking, what about Klay? Well, it's a hamstring, and it's a mild strain, and he's officially listed as questionable for tomorrow night's game. There is nothing to question with Kevon Looney. That man is out, and out indefinitely. Non-displaced cartilage fracture on the right side of his rib cage. It's basically where the ribs connect to his sternum. Ouch, that makes me cringe. So, Boogie, all of us, are looking at you. In the NBA Finals, the Warriors have allowed just north of 86 points per 100 possessions when Cousins is on the court. That is the best on the team, and it's nearly 20 points better than the next closest guy on the list. So, Boogie, it's all.
I'm on the mission. I'm on the mission. I'm on the mission.
Klay Thompson gets knocked down, and he is limping heavily.
Klay said he'll be fine, but, you know, Klay could be half dead, and he'd say, so we'll see.
Hello, Jay Williams. Real quick, yes or no, did you go to prom?
Of course I went to prom.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Of course.
Klay Thompson has a hamstring strain. That's the most pressing topic at this moment. He's questionable for Game 3, which is tomorrow night. There is optimism within that organization that he will play. He does have a history of playing with injury. But when you have to play with this kind of thing bothering you, how does it impact you on the floor?
Well, for Klay, a lot of his game is stop and go. He's not a guy that can find that constant rhythm in the game like Steph because he doesn't have the ball in his hands 24/7. So when he's constantly floating on the baselines, coming off down screens, pins, curls, a lot of that is the activation of those quads, of that hamstring. And I get worried about this because, yeah, you do need Klay on the floor to a certain extent, but then the real question is, do you? Because he didn't play the entire fourth quarter, and this team found a way to win, even though that, you know, the opposing team played a box and one on Stephen Curry. So I think for this game, potentially, if Klay isn't feeling great, I'd rather sit him and have him come back for a Game 5. I think the long-term health of Game 5, 4, 5, and 6 is way more important than just for Game 3.
He only missed 4 games in the regular season, and the Warriors went 2-2 without him. The bottom line in all of this is even if Klay plays, he's clearly not 100%. This is a very bruised and battered Warriors team. How does all of that sort of impact the role that DeMarcus Cousins now has to play?
Nicole, it's really funny about this. I described it yesterday as Jay Leno's garage. Wouldn't it be great to look into your garage like, oh, there's a 1950 Mustang I have. Oh, there's a 1965 Chevy. That's what the Golden State Warriors are. They still have the luxury of having a perennial all-star in DeMarcus Cousins that almost had a triple-double in his second game back in the NBA Finals. Do you know how difficult that is to be dropped into the NBA Finals and then all of a sudden have to be productive? But that's how talented Boogie Cousins is. I would play through Cousins more on the block. I think he's a force. Let him attack Marcus Gasol. Let him attack Serge Ibaka. His game is conducive to be another point forward like Draymond Green. Get him more involved in the offense because that opens up opportunities for Stephen Curry to knock down threes from the outside. And the bench needs to step up for Golden State. Look, if you know there's one place that is more comfortable for the bench to really step up, that's back in Oracle Arena, the last year that we're going to see the Golden State Warriors play in this arena.
Yeah, Game 3 tomorrow night is in Oakland at Oracle, where the Warriors have won 5 straight. That is Jay Williams. You can see the game on ABC and the ESPN app. The series is tied at a game apiece. Our coverage starts with the NBA Countdown, 8:30 Eastern tomorrow night.
The NBA Finals presented by YouTube TV. Raptors Warriors Game 3 on ABC.
And this best-of-7 series.
All they do is win.
Back to Iguodala. Iguodala puts it up. It's good. And this best-of-7 series is tied at 1 game apiece.
All they do is win. I'm gonna raise the trophy up once again.
When you get to this stage, our DNA shows up.
It was a great win. We got to go home and protect our home floor.
It's going to be even harder on the road. We just have to buy into ourselves, come out hard, strong, no mistakes, no turnovers.
Raptors Warriors Game 3 at Oracle tomorrow on ABC. The series is all tied at 1 game apiece. The team that wins Game 3 wins the series nearly 82% of the time. Here's Greeny.
And thank you. And look who's here. Caron Butler played 14 seasons in the NBA. Our special guest on Get Up today breaking down these finals. It's great to have you with us. And so let's look ahead to tomorrow night's Game 3. Raptors off a very tough loss in their second game at home. What is an adjustment or something you'd like to see them do differently to try and get a win tomorrow night?
Well, I think they have to do a better job at, attacking the pick and rolls, specifically with Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, putting all those guys in pick and roll as much as possible. And not just from an offensive standpoint, but from a defensive standpoint, because you're going to have DeMarcus Cousins in a ton of action, and I think your offense will be your best defense.
It does feel like DeMarcus Cousins could potentially play an enormous role in this thing going forward with as banged up as Golden State is. As far as the Raptors, again, we expect Kawhi to play well. That almost feels like it should be a given. Give me another Raptor who has to play big for them to win tomorrow.
Well, I think a couple guys, Kyle Lowry, Van Fleet, and Marc Gasol. All the others, especially on the road, they have to come in and be shot takers and shot makers. Defensively, they have to be extremely solid. They have to build a wall against all those guys. I don't want to see no more boxing ones. It reminds me of my AAU days, but at the same time, it's going to be amazing just to see them on the road.
Were you the one? Were you the guy they were always isolating?
Always. They put me in a sandwich position. Shout out to Richard Jefferson. They did it in college also.
Really good. We got a terrific show coming your way this morning. We are jam-packed today. We've got Jay Williams and Damon Jones and Richard Jefferson are all here. Let me give you a rundown. Woj will actually start the show, so just a few minutes away, with the very latest on Klay and Durant. Much more discussion on Game 3 and plenty of conversation about Roger Goodell's comments that there are too many preseason games in the NFL. Spoiler alert, I agree. It's Get Up just a few minutes away here on ESPN. Right now, let's get back to SportsCenter.
Yeah, because we have top